the privilege of working together now for years with your team. And tell us how long you've been in the industry and what's your favorite part about working with families.
I have been in the industry 21 years. I just celebrated 20 years at Gateway about 2 weeks ago. So I'm a long tenured loan officer here at Gateway. My favorite thing working with families is closing is probably the easy answer, right? I love that rewarding moment of the closing, but I also love the relationships that we get to build with these families over time. And that's kind of, why I love the building process is it's a longer process, right? So we get to really know these families and we get to talk to them. So the reward kind of builds up, if that makes sense. Like if you buy an existing house, it might be a 30-day reward. But if you're building a house, it can be a 6, a 9, it can be a month reward, right? That you've built this relationship and then all of a sudden we're building up to give them the keys. And then all of a sudden here's the keys and everybody's happy. So the relationships and then the closing.
Oh, that's awesome. And it is a process, right? It is a process to build. So you're going to know them for a hot minute. That's for sure. Um,
Yes.
so I want to use this time to really educate people. For families dreaming about building on land, but they feel overwhelmed, what is the first step you would encourage them to take?
The very first step I would say is to call me and then call Jerry Captain, call the two of us and get a really like a handle on all of your options and get all the misconceptions out of the way, right? Like I can't tell you how many times people say I need 20% to build my dream house and they don't, or they say, I get a call every now and then that people have had land for years and they've been saving money and now they think is they've saved just enough to build. And I have to tell them, hey, you could have built 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I say, get a hold of me, get your control of your finances and get an idea of your budget and your plan. Get a hold of Jerry so that he can give you all your land options and feasibility and just get some comfort because without talking to us, there's just so
Mhm.
much wrong data out there that people
Yes.
believe.
I'm so glad you said that. Yes. Get with the experts. Get with you, get with our team. I'll tell you, if you're listening to this, there's a lot of misnomers. There's a lot of fake news, a lot of misconceptions. So absolutely, I appreciate you saying that because it is critical that they get in contact with the experts that can actually help them that are doing it day in and day out. One other question here. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see families making when they try to build? And what advice would you give those families to help avoid those mistakes?
Well, I always tell people to aim high. I always tell people to figure out how they make decisions really upfront, right? So those two things I think are really important. If you aim high and we don't use all that we aimed for, that's really easy for us to not use it. If you aim low, it's really hard for us to increase down the road, right? So aiming high and then decision making seems to be, I was thinking of an example. We just had someone take 8 months on trim carpentry and it was because of decision making, like we couldn't get the decision made on where everything needed to go. And so I think if they can figure out how they make decisions up front in the process, and then if you need to make them all up front and then not have any more decisions, and that keeps things on track, I think that is really important.
I think it's critical that people understand that there are different methodologies to building. There are builders who have you make decisions throughout the entire process and builders who figure out all the details up front. Ask those questions, right? Ask those questions and make sure that you understand the implication, if I can say that word right, on either option. I think it's really important that you get well educated and understand the process. So I really appreciate you saying that. One of the things that you and I, as we work with families together, when a family works with an experienced builder that is an expert at building on land, and you guys are an experienced construction lender, when we work together, how do you think that changes the client experience? And I do have something to say about this. What's your opinion?
It's a huge difference. If you don't have one of those pieces, if you have an experienced lender and an inexperienced builder, it gets really, really messy. And the same thing, if you have an inexperienced construction, how to build on your own home, and even working with an experienced builder, you need to have both of them working together for the process to go really, really well. Depending on how many draws. Like just one example would be draws, right? Like builders need to get money from the construction lender. And if there's a comfort level between the builder and the lender on, hey, I need to ask for the money on Monday and then we'll do an inspection, we'll get the money on Friday. Like having knowledgeable partners that communicate with each other throughout the process, not just on the first one or the second one, but through every single draw from start to finish. And yeah, and then explaining the process the whole way through of this is what it's going to look like at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, and then we're all on the same page. It's a huge difference on, and honestly, on the happiness level at the end, right? You want to be happy when those keys are handed over, and it's a huge impact when the builder is great and the lender is great and they work together.
You know, I couldn't agree more. I think oftentimes people think because we're the builder that we have relationships with the banks, that somehow we're making money from you. That is not the case. We are working together with our individual expertise to ensure the client has the best experience necessary. The lender and builder relationship, I think, is excessively critical. I was just talking to another custom home builder recently, and she and I agreed the number one place things can go drastically wrong, so wrong that people give up, Tom, on building their dream home, is if the lending in the beginning isn't well vetted, that they don't actually do construction loans on a regular basis, and there's not cohesiveness between the builder and the lender. That we have both this other builder and I have watched more families give up on their dream of building up on land because they don't have relationships with the builder and the lender, and that they both have competency and expertise in the process. I can't express more. It's why we're doing this. Go ahead.
I just hate hearing that, right? Because it's my industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's our industry. It's why we're making this video. We want people to know there are people out there that this is what we do. This is what we love to do. We got it. We know how to do it, and we know how to work together. So, Tom, for people who are interested in building on land, or a real estate agent who has clients, how do they get in contact with you and your team?
I say first go to gatewayokc.com just because that's the easy answer, right? Gatewayokc.com. Always call my office, and that's 751-405.
Excellent. Well, and I couldn't encourage you more. Tom and his team have helped countless clients of ours now for years. They're competent, they're kind, they're experienced, and great human beings. So reach out to them, please, if you're interested. Don't take our word for it. Call them up. They'll tell you they are experts at not only lending, but builder relationships. So we appreciate it. Tom, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you. And again, if you guys have more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Tom's team or my team at turnerandsonhomes.com, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you so much.